Don't even realise what they're doing. Do you know? I mean, the Union Jack should never be changed. That's the flag of your country.
But here's the whole point. If that's the argument, then football teams shouldn't change it. People shouldn't wear Union Jack t-shirts, boxer shorts. It's
been launched with the Parades Commission to have an official protest against Pride.
Good man.
Yesterday I attended a gay parade in Belfast, Northern Ireland. And the reason why that I wanted to attend was that in the past few days and the weeks, I guess, leading up to this parade, there has been much controversy in our media with reference some of the schemes that are going on, some of the things that are being done in order to reach out, they say, to the gay community. So one of the things that really it captured my thoughts was that the politicizing of our services, which are meant to be neutral, which are meant to be gaining and maintaining the respect of the entire community, yet people at the heads of particular organizations, I'll name them in a minute, people at the heads of these organizations, they feel that they can promote one thing at the expense of another. They can promote one thing, and whilst they demonize, whilst they ostracize, whilst they diminish others. Now let me explain. Just a few years ago we had our PSNI, the Policing Service of Northern Ireland. And the policing service, it came into being as a result of the peace talks in Northern Ireland. I mean, they told us that the policing service, the RUC of that day, it was politicised and it had to be depoliticised. And as per the Patton recommendations, well, Patton recommended that our police service should be fair, it should be impartial, it should be free from partisan political control, and it should be capable of gaining and maintaining the respect of the entire community. That's right, a totally impartial policing service, and it could police without fear or favour for anyone. And you know, that's the way that a policing service should be. And when we hear that word impartiality, we learn to understand that impartiality means that we have a service that carries out its duties in a totally unbiased way, and it won't treat anyone different. Everybody should be subject to and equal under the same law and the same ground rules. Now, from the PSNI, we move on to another impartial service that we have here in the United Kingdom. They call that service the BBC, the public broadcaster. This is a service that we pay for using licensing fees and with our taxes through government input. This service also, given that it is a public broadcaster, should be fair, it should be impartial, and it should be, yet again, free from partisan political control. It should be capable, and I'll say it again, of gaining and maintaining the respect of the entire community. That's right, leaving no one out and ostracizing absolutely no one. And when you think about how that impartiality would be delivered, well, there's only one way to do that. And you do that by focusing on, for example, if you're a public broadcaster, you focus on reporting the news, for example, in a balanced way, laying out the facts and letting people make the decisions on the rights and wrongs, and not interfering or not becoming involved in giving political opinion, or permitting your broadcasters to engineer programs in a way that would carry favour with one side or the other. And the BBC they were another organisation, a so-called impartial organisation, who were meant to be impartial, as we know, and yet they wanted to walk in this this gay parade, this what has become known as a political parade, seeking societal change, seeking changes in the law. Now that is their absolute right, but everyone has rights. Everyone should be treated in a fair and equitable and partial way, and we should never have a public service of any description taking part or siding with anyone on any side of a political argument. Now, the BBC, they just in the last few weeks, and this was the controversy that I wanted to go and see, in the past few weeks they decided that they were going to permit their people, the people that work for them, to go and to march in the gay parade in Belfast. And, you know, the BBC is an organisation, well, an impartial organisation, and this is the key words. Should they have got involved in telling the people that work for them to, you can wear your BBC logos, you can stand behind a BBC banner, you can, they even paid for it. They paid a subscription fee to permit their people to walk in this parade. Now, that's not impartiality, because we have a parade in Belfast, and this is without doubt, this isn't in dispute, this is a political parade. And this parade was seeking societal change in many different ways. This parade is political. This parade had many political participants. And impartiality is never delivered by taking sides in an argument. So we had the PSNI, a fair, impartial and free from partisan political control organisation. We have the BBC, who were meant to be and are meant to be exactly the same, and they took part in this parade. Now, it doesn't stop there. We now have the head of the Northern Ireland Civil Service. He has nominated himself to be a gay ally. Now, what is an ally? An ally is on the side of something, promoting, standing alongside, helping, facilitating. That's what allies do. They facilitate their friends in political arguments, for example. Now here we have the Northern Ireland Civil Service taking part, actively promoting that the head of the Northern Ireland Civil Service is a gay ally. Now, some people might think that that's a good thing, and that's their right to think that. But let me explain something very, very serious that people need to understand. You see, within the Northern Ireland Civil Service, they are obligated by equality legislation. And the equality legislation says this, that the head of the Northern Ireland Civil Service, as does the head of the PSNI, as does the executive of the BBC, they have to promote, it is their responsibility to promote a harmonious working environment for everyone. Now let me just explain this, that we have Christians in Northern Ireland who want to protect marriage. Marriage, they say, is between the man and a woman. We have people on the gay side of the argument who would say that they want same-sex marriage, they want equal marriage, they want whatever sort of marriage it is that they call it, but they want marriage. And there's a political argument at this point in time whereby people can't agree. Now, the answer to this would be that gay people, go have gay marriage, but let's have some fine print. Let's have some ground rules installed that would ensure that it's not stage and post politics that these people are involved in, and that the next stage of their onslaught would be that they would attempt to force churches to marry them on the grounds of discrimination, because we've seen it before, and only a fool would put their hand in the fire again and again and again. So We have a political argument which is developed over marriage, and here we have the PSNI dispensing with their being free from partisan political control, being impartial, and taking sides in a political argument. Now you might just say, why am I saying that the PSNI are dispensing from being free from partisan political control? Well, who remembers the confidence and supply arrangement with the DUP of a few years ago? Well, you see, there was two parts to that agreement. And the other part, there was also a confidence and supply arrangement with a lady called Ruth Davidson. And I think at the time, Ruth Davidson, she had 10 Conservative MPs in Scotland. And she said to Theresa May, well, you know, if you're going to do a confidence and supply arrangement with the DUP, I want my confidence and supply arrangement. And on her shopping list was that there would be no rollback of LGBT rights within the UK. That's her right to ask for that. And that the Conservatives, the Conservative government, would actively pursue the advancement of gay rights here in Northern Ireland. Within a few weeks, we had the rainbow flag flying over what is meant to be an impartial building. The impartial building was Stormont Castle. We had the PSNI, who obviously, as a result of Ruth Davidson's confidence and supply arrangement, they were pushed into walking in gay pride, hence dispensing from being impartial and free from partisan political control. So this is why I went to Gay Pride a few days ago, to see the controversy for myself, to see this so-called public broadcaster dispensing with their impartiality, bold as brass, carrying their BBC banner, wearing their BBC t-shirts, having the fee to walk in the parade paid by licence payers' money, and yet the chief executive of the BBC, he tries to tell us blatantly, as bold as brass, that they're not walking as a corporate, they're not walking as part of the BBC, they are doing it on their own bat. What sort of idiots do these people think that we are? What do they think? Enough of that. So, whilst I was on this parade, I have to say, the controversy wasn't the BBC. The controversy wasn't the PSNI. The controversy wasn't the extreme men pretending that they were women, walking around in the most fine clothes that a woman could ever wear. It wasn't those extreme elements that was the most extreme. What was the most extreme within that parade was toddling along was the Ulster Unionist Party. The party of Carson, the party of one of the founding fathers of unionism, the party that should be furthering what Carson had set up, protecting what Carson had set up, standing up for the union and protecting and teaching about and enhancing the union flag. I see these people coming along with our union flag having been redesigned in rainbow colours representing gay pride. Now, for one moment, let me explain something. I met a man in London last year, and this man, he was from Iran. Now, he lived in London, and he had become highly westernized. He told me a lot about the regime in Iran and how oppressive that it is, and how it is that they actually detest, they are jealous of what it is that we have here in the United Kingdom, a sense of normality, a sense of freedom, the freedoms that our forefathers fought for, died for, and won in order that we could have a life free from totalitarianism, free from any form of aggression from anyone, in order that we could live in a free society. This man told me that, he said, John, I see English people, I see British people, great patriotic people who think that they're British and they think that they're the most British people in the world. And I see them cleaning their feet on Union Jack mats, getting into their homes. I see them wearing shorts, Union Jack shorts. And, you know, he says that a flag of a country should never be treated in that way. A flag of a country, in most countries, it would be a criminal offence to treat your flag like that. A flag of a country should be respected. A flag of a country should have a history which everyone knows about. A flag of a country, that history should be taught to our young people. And it is the sense of pride that we would have towards that flag that needs to be respected, needs not to be defaced, and needs not to be defiled by anyone. And here we had the Ulster Unionist Party, the people who should be most tasked with protecting that flag. Here we had them having defaced the Union flag, having joined the LGBT lobby in pursuit of, I am not saying that this is wrong, in pursuit of reaching out to the LGBT community in order that they would vote for unionism, in order that we can, in some way, shape or fashion, protect the union in the future. Well, look, that should be done. But there are lines that you cannot cross when you're doing it. You don't have to dispense with who you are, and what you stand for in order to bring other people on board. It's a bit like corporatism. They spend more time chasing new customers and not looking after the things or the customers that they have. And that, therein lies the problem. Therein lies the exact reason why the Conservative Party are in turmoil today. Because they have brought into their party a broad church. And when it comes to decision time, everyone is pulling in different directions. So unionism, particularly the Ulster Unionist Party, they have lost their way. They have lost the plot. They need to roll back, or they're going to be a party of history. They will be finished. They're almost there, and they're slowly but surely chipping away at themselves. So have a thought and spare a thought for the fact that there's not only LGBT people in this world. When you're reaching out to LGBT people, what you've got to do is you've got to think about others within society. In a diverse society, diversity means that everybody is included. If you want a society which is based upon respect and fairness and equality, that equality, fairness and respect has to be for everyone. And you know, we really need to look at things in a way that whenever we have contentious issues, that we lay out bare everybody's problems and we build a solution based upon not the wants of people, but the needs of society.
They don't even realise what they're doing. You know, I mean, Union Jack should never be changed. That's the flag of your country.
But here's the whole point. If that's the argument, then football teams shouldn't change it. People shouldn't wear Union Jack t-shirts, boxer shorts.
It's a launch with the Parades Commission to have an official protest against Pride.
Good man.